In 2024, I've grown more musically than I think I have in the past 3 years. But this transformation didn't just happen overnight. I want to share with you some of the key lessons and takeaways from this year that I'm going to bring into 2025 and that I think could be helpful for you too. To begin, I would say that starting with a really great academic foundation has been really good for me. But overall, what's been more important is finding the right teachers who click with me and who click with the way that I learn and how I process information. So what do I mean by that? I've had teachers in the past where they are really great players and they can teach effectively, but their style might just not match perfectly with how I best learn. So for example, there are some teachers who are really kind and might go a little bit easier on you or say more broad statements like, oh, you could work on your time a little bit more this week, try and focus it on this song or this exercise. But for me, I just know that I really value structure as opposed to the more casual approach. I also really value teachers that hold me accountable and might be a little bit more disciplined rather than those who are more relaxed and always happy no matter what I've done throughout the week. I like someone to push me a little bit. So figure out what that is for you. Do you like people who are more structured? Do you like people who are more disciplined and in your face? Or do you do better in a more relaxed setting with more broad statements and broad approaches? Because neither one is necessarily right or wrong, and especially the way the teacher presents the information can vary widely. So just understanding which teachers work best for you, it can be really valuable. In addition to this, before I register for classes every semester, I'll always try and do research on the teachers, and this has ensured that I always get great teachers for every single one of my classes. And having good teachers in your school and in your classes is going to make the biggest difference in your academic success and in your learning. Another thing I've learned from teaching my own students and from experiencing a lot of different teaching styles and methods is that it's really important to have a teacher who enjoys teaching. They like their job and they're passionate about helping students. It's true that some teachers like playing, but they might just teach for the money, which is totally fine. But as a student, you might not be getting the most out of it because you're not able to feed off of their passion and off of their excitement, the same way that a teacher who is very motivating to you might be able to help you. I also love it when teachers ask for your preferences and ask you in the first lesson how you like to be taught, because any good teacher should understand that different students have different learning styles, and so it can even be appropriate for you to voice your preferences to your teacher. For example, you could say, I really do well when a teacher sends me an email after every lesson dictating everything that we've gone through in that lesson so that I can practice it each week rather than going home without anything written down. And you can also help yourself do this by writing it down yourself or recording your lessons. These are all great ways to make the most out of your time with your teachers. One decision I'm really glad that I've made is choosing to major in music business and performance. This has been so helpful for my career and for my academic success because choosing to double major has allowed me to take the best of both worlds. I can still practice and take from great teachers and improve my playing, but I'm getting all of the necessary business skills that it takes to really be a musician. I'm really fortunate that Berklee does have a music business program, but if your school doesn't, this is all information that is accessible online through other YouTubers and other content creators. There's tons of articles, and business itself is just a massive, massive field. Some specific things in business that I've loved learning about is business startups, marketing, the creative entrepreneur mindset, and having mindsets that will help you achieve the most that you can with your music. To follow with other YouTubers and social media in general, posting consistently every week has been really helpful for me as a musician. Let me explain. Posting consistently, whether it be weekly or daily, it helps you build trust and confidence in yourself to follow through with your ideas. It can be really debilitating and make you feel really stuck if you have all of these ideas in your head, but you never quite follow through with them. You never get them out there. And doing it consistently is just like you would for a class. You have a deadline and you have to deliver by that deadline. I think that a lot of musicians get stuck with posting because they don't know what to post, or they just feel like it's such a burden, or it can lead to burnout. But one thing that I've learned is just to post things that feel easy. So for me, taking a song and trying to make a great solo over it every single week was pretty hard. It took a lot of work, a lot of practicing, a lot of hours just to get a 60-second reel. Whereas I've learned that I can dish out educational content quite easily, and it's something I enjoy doing. I love teaching, and it feels comfortable for me to do often. And so for me, that's what works. On my Instagram page, I often will post licks that I've learned. And while some people might debate whether lick videos are helpful for people who are watching them and want to learn more vocab, I hope I'm helping people, but ultimately they've been really helpful for me to build that vocab, because when I make a video on a lick, then I internalize it better and I remember it longer than licks that I've learned and I haven't made a video on. So finding your niche in social media, and a very specific niche, like music isn't specific enough. Being a saxophonist might not be specific enough, but being a saxophonist who makes videos on educational content specifically for jazz musicians with a target audience in mind, that's where the real gold happens. But everyone knows that musicians should be posting content, hopefully, to get their music out there. There's something I just really love about taking an idea in your head and bringing it to life and putting it out into the world. As musicians, we do that all the time with our music, and we're always trying to improve on that. I'm still learning as I do it, but that's something that I've learned in 2024 to help me be more consistent with my posting schedule. While posting consistently has definitely helped me grow in 2024, there's another mindset shift that I want to share with you, which is choosing to wake up every day with a heart full of gratitude. There are tons of studies on gratitude showing the benefits in even physical health as well as your mental health, and how powerful gratitude really is. And I found that in the sometimes dreary city of Boston, when you wake up in your tiny apartment, it can feel like, oh, another day as a music student, another day I have to take public transportation to school, another day I have to do all of these things, I'm not gonna get home until 10 p.m. But if you shift that mindset and instead say, I'm so lucky to be in this great city where all of these opportunities are possible. I'm so lucky I get to go to a music school to learn. I'm so lucky I have these teachers who are investing in me. I'm so lucky I have something to get up and do with my life. That will be such a big difference in your mood and in your feeling of the day. I've noticed personally in my life that, especially when I choose to even write down the things that I'm grateful for each day, those things can magnify, because whatever you focus on grows. So if you're always focusing on things that are going wrong in your life, or you're always focusing on the things that are weighing you down, it's going to multiply. Whereas if you're focusing on the things that you're grateful for and focusing on the things that you're glad that you have in your life, those things will also multiply. So I challenge you to take this into 2025, write down the things that you're grateful for each day, and try to practice that when you wake up and before you go to bed. It is important to acknowledge that being a music student and being a musician in general definitely does come with its challenges. One thing that I've been trying to figure out a lot this year is balancing all of the different aspects of life as a music student. And I think that almost every person can agree that balancing all of the different aspects of your life, music, work, school, social, emotional, spiritual, all of these things can be hard to give a time and attention to, especially when we're expected to practice for hours every day on top of going to classes, on top of taking care of our living space. It can be quite a lot. While music is definitely an emotional art and can serve as a great coping mechanism for dealing with emotions, it's also a great idea to balance these with other creative acts or spending time with those that love you, and just making sure that you have time outside of music to take care of yourself physically and emotionally. Balance is something I'm still working on and still learning about, but I'd love to hear your experiences with balance as well and how you're navigating all of this as a musician. This balancing act is something that a lot of people struggle with, but in fact it can be even harder when performance pressure comes into play. So I'm talking about those juries we have after every semester playing for a panel of judges and getting a grade. It can feel very unnatural, and even if you're not in college and you're not playing juries, sometimes it's like putting yourself out there into the world, whether it be through a video or through a performance. Sometimes it can feel like everyone is judging you and judging the way you're playing and just critiquing you. And even if they're not, that might be how it feels inside of your head. You might be critiquing yourself, and you might be critiquing every little instance of your playing, because that's what we're taught to do as musicians. That's how we learn, and that's how we improve on our skills. But it's important to balance this with realizing that your self-worth doesn't come from how well you can play. Your self-worth and value as a person isn't determined by how great that solo was or how much the audience necessarily connected with you. Your work is not part of your value. Work is something that is a good asset in your life and something we should improve on, but inherently, no matter what you're doing with your work, you always have value as a person and as a human being. Something that I've learned to do that can help with this is keeping the focus on your personal mission. So personal mission statements are a big thing in business. They help to guide the business's eye towards what they want to be and what their values are. And the same thing goes for us as musicians. We should all have a personal mission statement, something that we keep in our mind as to what we would like to accomplish with our work. So for example, my mission statement when I'm playing the saxophone might be helping others to feel connected, helping people to feel like life is a life worth living, like there is beauty in what they're hearing and that they can feel love through it. And when I focus on that when I'm playing, all of a sudden it's not about me anymore. It's not about how well I played that solo or how well I played over those changes, and all of a sudden it's not me feeding into this loop of my self-worth and how good I played or how bad I played. It's about what it should be about music being an art form that should be connecting people and should be helping people to feel good and to grow. So in 2025, write down your personal mission statement, and before you go into a gig or performance, remember this. And if you're teaching music students, your mission statement might look a little bit different. It might be, I want my students to feel safe and to feel like they can, but whatever it is you're doing, whatever your focus is, defining a personal mission statement can really help you to keep the focus on what it should be and to remember that your self-worth isn't tied to your work. Another part of this balance and self-worth can be having the humility to learn from other people and to acknowledge that everyone is doing their best, and that when you look around, you can find that there's quite a lot that other people can teach you. Through all of this, it's important to understand that music isn't just about the music we play, it's about the relationships that come with it. And I've learned this year that we should invest in people who are going to uplift us and bring us up with them, and we should also be looking out to other people to bring them up. I like this quote that says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So it's important that you're spending time with friends and people who are going to help you and to motivate you and to help you reach your goals. So if you're spending time with people who are always pushing you and helping you to grow and to reach your potential, then that's going to be such a blessing, as opposed to spending time with people who are always trying to drag you down or who always make you question your self-worth, or people who always make you feel a little bit less than, right? It's important to invest in people that can invest in you, and for those people that are investing in you, like your parents, give back to them. So for people who are always draining your energy, it's important to realize that and to take an action with it, right? You don't want to surround yourself with people like that all of the time. So this new year, I'm gonna focus on trying to be a better member of my community, whether that space is online or in my school or in my family. And this is something that I think is really gonna bless my life and has blessed my life as I've continued to invest in other people and to be grateful for those who have invested in me. These are the lessons that I've learned in 2024 and some things that I will be taking into 2025. Let me know what you think, if any of these resonated with you or any of your goals and your lessons that you want to take into 2025 with you. With that being said, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great new year and I'll see you next time.